I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But we have to talk about it. The Green Bay Packers played football today. Not well, but they played football. They played the Cleveland Browns, and they lost by a score of 13-10 in what probably was one of the worst performances by the Green Bay Packers I think I've ever seen, at least in recent years. I mean, it was rough. It was really rough, and we'll get into all the stats, but I mean, I will say the defense played well. They played really well. But the Packers' offense just kept putting them in so many crappy positions, especially at the end of the game. Beginning of the fourth quarter is kind of where it really turned. And I could complain about the refs, and I will a little bit, but they kind of were trying to give them a touchdown there at the end of the fourth quarter, and the defense made an incredible stand and forced a field goal. I mean, the refs were literally trying to hand the Browns, here you go, a touchdown, and the defense, they played so well, and they got them out of the goal line area, out of the red zone, and forced them to kick a field goal. And they played very, very well. The defense was very good. But the offense, the Packers' offense was miserable today. They just couldn't get anything going. And the play calling was ridiculous. In my opinion, I don't know if Matt LaFleur was seeing stuff that I didn't see. Obviously he did, but I mean, it would be a little screen or a little run this way, then I'll run this way, and then it's a jet sweep this way and a jet sweep that way, running everywhere but forward. Everywhere but forward. I don't understand what was going on today. I don't understand. Jordan played horrible today. He did, and that's just the way it is. You're going to have bad games. I get it. And this was Jordan's worst game of the year. This is the worst I've seen Jordan play, and it's been a long time. But today was just a bad day. It was just a bad day for the Packers. Zach Tom and Aaron Banks came back today. They both got re-injured and left the game. The Packers' O-line was just miserable today. Just awful. Jordan Love got sacked 5 times today. Jordan was under constant pressure. And I gotta hand it to the Browns defense. The Browns defense they're very good. Myles Garrett, the whole defensive front for the Browns today played excellent football. They really did. And they just got to the Packers today, man. They just got to them. I gotta say it. I was telling my uncle this, that while we were watching the game, that it seems that the Packers went into Cleveland overconfident, completely unprepared, because that's what I saw on my television screen. Was not the same team that I had seen play very, very well the last 2 weeks against two very good football teams. And I know that the Browns get a lot of smack, they get a lot of heat, and as they should, but the Browns did enough to win. They literally did enough to win. It wasn't much, but it was enough. So it just, oh man, I don't even really want to talk about it. It was so bad. And I will say this, that I'm happy that after the game, I had a birthday party to go to, so I wasn't able to do the post-game reaction right after the game because I would have been a lot more upset. But now I've had time to digest it and think about it and understand that it's only week 3. Every good team has bad games. I mean, right now, the Chiefs are not playing very well against the Giants. Every good team has bad weeks. So, let's go into it. We'll go through the stats. We'll get into it. But I think that's a good thing for Packers fans to remember is that it's only week 3. You're going to have bad games. It's going to happen. You don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. The Packers should have went into Cleveland and should have stopped the Browns. They didn't. They didn't. The defense played great. The offense did not. The offense hasn't looked too amazing all season yet. But it's okay. It's only week 3. Let's get into these stats here. So Jordan Love was 18 of 25 today. 183 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. It was his first turnover this year. And like I said, he was sacked 5 times. Jordan just did not look good today. Josh Jacobs, he had 16 attempts rushing for only 30 yards. And he did have a fumble at the end of the game, but then recovered it. But let's be honest, that was probably the Browns' ball. That was a fumble about a minute or so remaining when the Packers were trying to just run out the clock for Brandon McManus. And it was like the first run after the 2-minute warning, and Jacobs fumbled it, and the Browns might have come up with that, but the Packers got lucky there. They're not mattering, but not mattering, so whatever. Packers in total only 81 rush yards, and like I said, that was Josh Jacobs, Savion Williams, Matthew Golden. The Packers use Matthew Golden and Savion Williams a lot in their little sweeps that they do, which I hate, by the way. Run forward, not to the side. Especially if you're running to the side and it's not working, don't keep doing it. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Just stop. Get help. So in total, 81 rush yards. That was also Emmanuel Wilson ran a little bit. The Packers' leading receiver was Matthew Golden. He had 4 catches for 57 yards, or 52. 52. He had 1 big catch that it looked that he could have kept running and maybe could have picked up a little bit more, but he didn't. I don't know why. I haven't rewatched the game just yet. I'm going to do that later. But I think Matthew Golden played really well today. I think he played well today. He did good. Josh Jacobs had 5 catches for 44 yards. He was targeted 9 times, caught it 5 times, so that's fine. Tucker Kraft, he did play today, coming off a little bit of an injury he had in practice this week. So it was nice to see that he was getting involved. He only had 3 catches, 24 yards though. Most of those 24 yards was on 1 catch, where he got a lot of yards after catch. And then Fitzpatrick, he had 2 catches for 12 yards and a touchdown. I believe it was Fitzpatrick's first touchdown of his career. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But that was cool to see. Pretty much, it just seemed in the receiving end, it just seemed that a lot of the throws were just like little checkdowns, and they were all to the sideline, and any of them that were really kind of over the middle of the field or away from the sideline, a couple of catches by Romeo, and they were good throws and they were good catches. But yeah, offense not great today. Defensively, like I said, the defense played very, very well. They had a lot of pressure on Flacco. McKinney had his first pick of the year. It was the last throw of the second half. There was a couple seconds left, so it ended up not mattering. But it was cool to see X get another interception. Rashawn Gary had 2 sacks, so he's getting back into form. Micah Parsons didn't have a sack today, but he had a lot of pressures. He almost got to Flacco a couple times, a couple QB hits for him. And then McManus, 1 for 2. He had the blocked field goal at the end. That ended up pretty much giving the Browns the victory. Special teams overall was not great today. Matthew Golden, for some reason, on a punt, the ball landed, and I believe it was right around the 22, and for some reason, Matthew Golden let it roll 20 yards back to the 2, and then that put the Packers' offense in a really bad situation. So that wasn't great at all. Let's look at the stats for the Browns in a second, but I just noticed another note here that I put. The end of the third quarter, the Packers just had to let the clock run out. It was like a 3rd and 1. For some reason, and I don't understand this, and I still don't understand this, they only had to gain 1 yard. And you didn't have to run a play. You could have just waited. And for some reason, Jordan Love snapped the ball as the time ran out, dropped back like 5 yards, and then ran to the right. I'm pretty sure the play just broke down. and then got sacked in one of the weakest tackles I've ever seen. Lost like 15 yards and then had a punt at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's when it all began to tumble. I don't understand the play call there. I don't know if Matt LaFleur was trying to get them to get the Browns to kind of like catch them off guard. Like, oh, they're not going to run a play, and then they ran a play, and it didn't work. But I wrote that down because I thought that was dumb. I thought it was dumb. Let's briefly look at just a couple of stats for the Browns. There's not much, because the Browns didn't do much. The Packers pretty much choked this game away and just handed it to the Browns. So Joe Flacco is 21 of 36, 142 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And he overthrew a lot of... Joe Flacco's 15 incompletions were bad. They were bad incompletions. They were really bad. Short, just missing a guy out a whole bunch, overthrowing, underthrowing. Flacco did not look good. He did not look good. He was only sacked twice. And there was a lot of pressure on him, and he just did not play well. Judkins was the Browns' leading rusher, 18 attempts for 94 yards, and he did have the Browns' lone touchdown after Jordan Love threw an interception deep in their own territory, and he was able to run in there when the Browns got the ball. David Njoku, he was the Browns' leading receiver, 5 receptions for 40 yards. Delbert had the interception on Jordan Love. And then Sismet, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he had the game-winning 55-yard field goal, which is a new career high for him. It was 54, but now he got it 55. So, if we just go over the team stats a little bit, the Packers owned time of possession, 34 minutes to Cleveland's 25 minutes. First downs was pretty much the same. The Packers had 14 compared to Cleveland's 15. The Packers were 10 of 18 on third down. And this here, the Browns were 4 of 13 on third downs. The Browns couldn't get anything going until the Packers gave it to them. Packers didn't go for it on any fourth downs, and the Browns were 1 for 2. Packers ran 61 plays compared to the Browns' 57. Penalties. Cleveland had 8 penalties for 90 yards. The Packers had 14 penalties for 75 yards. 14 penalties. Jordan Morgan had 3 false starts. These penalties were all drive killers. And they're all boneheaded penalties. Granted, a couple of these penalties were on the first drive of the Browns for the fourth quarter, where the refs practically missed 2 of the most blatant holds, one on Micah Parsons, and one was on Rashawn Gary. Just blatant holds. And just let them, then that's when the Browns had 2 big runs, and they got all the way to the end zone, and then there was a couple more bad calls. I'm just going to repeat myself. I don't want to. Looking forward to next week, the Green Bay Packers are going to Dallas. Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys, who just got mangled by the Bears. That was the best I've ever seen the Bears look in a long time. So the Packers should be able to handle the Cowboys, right? Micah Parsons' revenge game. Right? Cleveland, the Browns, they'll head to Detroit next week to play the Lions. The Lions play tomorrow night. They play against the Ravens. Elsewhere around the North, the Vikings destroyed the Bengals today. The Bengals didn't even have a chance. They had 21 or 28 points off turnovers. It was rough. Like I said, the Bears kicked the crap out of the Cowboys, and the Lions play the Ravens tomorrow. I believe it's in Baltimore. So the Packers maybe getting this really boneheaded loss out early, I hope. Good teams have bad games. It is what it is. I'm not going to freak out too much. It's only week 3. But there's definitely some stuff to clean up. The offense needs to clean up a lot. The penalties is unacceptable. That's a discipline issue. Special teams needs to clean it up. I mean, a lot of things the Packers need to do to get ready for Dallas. They really do, because I had a bad feeling about this Cleveland game. I really felt like it could have been a trap game, and it was. And the Packers played horrible all game, and they pretty much still almost won until they blew it. So, oh well. We can't dwell on it too much. I know the Packers, they'll go over the film, they'll do their thing, and they'll be hopefully ready for Sunday Night Football next week. But yeah, they got punched in the mouth. Definitely on a high horse the first 2 weeks, and they got knocked off that horse today. And hopefully it gets them to fix their problems. So that's all we can hope for. But on to next week, on to Dallas. We still love the Packers. Still love them. I'll see you guys next week. Go Pack, go.